So I thought today I would go through how it is that I advertise my wedding photography business. Now a lot of people you'll see advertise, sign up for this course and show you how to use Facebook ads. Well, that's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how I used Facebook ads to advertise my wedding photography. And not only that, I'm going to show you through my CRM how much I was able to generate since January 1st of this year. And right now it is only February 17th. And I can tell you that I have generated around $22,000 worth of potential income, actual income coming in around $11,500 in 1.5 months. So let's get into it. And I will show you exactly how it is that I set up my ads and what has worked for me. Alright, so let's get into it. Now this is here on my business Facebook page, and I kind of have it pre-set up. So I've got the image in there that I'm going to be using, and I have all the wording that's going to be in there. Now I do use ChatGPT. I have found that to work great to help write out some of the ads. And you'll see like I have saved 20%. In my experience, when it comes to sales, anytime that you put some type of discount or something like that, that is going to increase the amount of inquiries that you get for said ad. You don't have to do it, but as I said, in my experience here, that really does help. It really helps drive business. You can always adjust your prices to kind of match to where you want to do discounts. But I don't really suggest doing that, because if you raise your prices to knock it down by the discount and you have people that end up seeing differences in it, you might end up with some clients that are a little angry because they ended up paying a higher price, or maybe didn't get the discount that they thought they were going to get. But yeah, I always find that having something like that is usually going to drive a lot more. So we have that in there. We have our picture in there. That's how you add the media. And then what I come down and I change is, in here you've got all kinds of different options. You can set up like a form for them to sign up with, or inquire, get a quote, stuff like that. I always set it to send message. I want them to message me directly so that I'm able to communicate directly with them. Now you've got the Advantage Creative here, which what this is it's Meta's algorithm that will start learning how your clients interact, learning what type of clients. Now what's really important, which I can show you through the business suite, is when the messages come in, they will come in as intake, and then it'll determine that they are a qualified one because you've interacted with them a bit. And when you book them, you will manually switch it over to converted and switch it over to booked, and that lets the system know that, hey, this person did end up purchasing, and these are the kind of the audience that I'm looking for. And that's where this will end up start learning that, to advertise to certain types of people. Maybe they'll have shared different interests, stuff like that. It's a nice little thing once it gets working. If you're first starting out, turn it on so it's going to start learning. It might not do a whole lot there at the beginning, but after running ads for a while, it eventually starts learning and gets a lot smarter and targets a lot better. Now here's the big thing. This is what makes the difference when it comes to advertising through Meta, Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. You want to come into your audience details, because it's always defaulted to the United States. Now you don't want to advertise to the entire United States. Though you might be willing to travel, that's a lot of wasted ads that are going out to people that you're more than likely not going to book, because they're not willing to pay the travel fees for you to come out there. So we want to knock that one out and come in and start selecting. Now I live just north of Omaha, Nebraska. I live in a small little town, so I'll show you what it is that I put in. So first one I'm starting with is Omaha, and you will see where it says DMA. I'll show you here what that does is it selects this entire area. That's its demographic market area. So now I'm just going to keep adding in the areas that are around here that I consider, my market, my area that I am fine driving to do weddings. So this is my service area. I want to make sure I get them all added in. And there you go. Now you can see the whole area that it has selected. So the ad is only going to be shown to people that are within this demographic area. And that right there is a big thing. I think that's one of the ones that a lot of people kind of miss on doing. They'll advertise to the entire United States, and then they'll get a lot of messages. Most of them pass because they're, 1,000 miles away from them, 1,500 miles away from them. They're way out of their area, and they're not willing to pay those travel fees. Or you're not even wanting to travel that far to begin with, so people get frustrated and they end up giving up on it. The next part, detailed targeting. This is where we're going to really narrow down the people that we want to see the ad within that demographic area. One of the first things that I will do is start adding in, like, let's go, which I'm sure you saw out there. I already had some that were already in because I've set these ads up many times and it does remember those, so it makes it easy just to add them in. But I put in like weddings, wedding dress, wedding rings, wedding photographer. So this is now is kind of their interest, which usually when somebody's looking for weddings, they've already been going to sites like this, so Meta knows that they've been showing interest in stuff like this. And then you can go into your interests, behaviors, there's all kinds of different stuff, but that's usually how I set it up. Another one too is come into your relationship and relationship status, and you can add engaged. Now, I'd started doing this recently, just kind of testing it out. And to be honest, I haven't seen a big difference in the amount of people messaging me by putting that in there. Now, in the last month and a half, I have had 2 or 3 mothers of the bride or the groom that I actually sold the weddings to. You do have parents that are paying for weddings, or they are helping out the couple get the wedding set up. So doing that might take away from some of them messaging you. And to be completely honest, I really haven't seen a difference, but I haven't used it enough to say if it does or not. So completely up to you if you want to do that. But that is something that you can do, is, put it in their relationship as engaged. And then also remember that somebody who just got engaged might not have changed their status yet. Maybe they forgot to do it, whatever reasons. But, it's kind of one of those things. If you want to add it and try it out, try it out. I'm just showing you the different ways that you can change it. But as I said, in the last few ads that I ran, and I ran it with engaged selected, I really have not seen a difference. So now we're going to save audience, and bam, we have all of that put into there. And you can see right here, I already have audiences that were pre-built. This is essentially the same thing right on this one. If I click on this, it's going to show you all the different stuff that I have already put in there. So it makes it really easy to set up new ads. You've already got your audience saved with all your interests, with all your demographic areas already saved into it. Now you come down, you've got your duration. You can run it continuously. You can choose when it ends. Maybe you're running a special that's only lasting for 1 week or 1 month, something like that. You can change it out here. And here you're just going to set your daily budget. And it's going to give you an idea of how many impressions a day you're going to get with the area that you're in and the amount that you're spending. I will say that that number is way off. I have never seen 8,000 to 16,000 impressions in one day. Usually it's around 2,000, maybe 3,000 impressions that I will see a day. And depending on the day of the week, I'll get anywhere between 2 to 5 messages a day. I have found that the weekends are obviously way busier. Most of my weddings I sell during the weekend because that's when people have time to be scrolling around on Facebook. They're sitting there at home bored and they're scrolling and they're seeing the ads. Now you get your advantage placement, and this just it's another one of those kind of algorithms where it starts learning. And it learns that maybe it's better to place it on Instagram, maybe it's better to be placing it through the messenger and stuff like that. There's different ones that it'll put it to. It'll put it to the messengers, to put it to Instagram. Almost all of mine have come through Facebook. Down here you're just seeing where I'll put money into it. It usually bills it out to my card. There you go. You can see the last of my business card. But you can add funds into your account, which I do kind of like doing because it's way easier for me to budget my advertising when I just go in there and I'll put in, say, $200 into it and just let Meta take it out of those funds, so that it's not just billing my business card anytime it wants. Simply click publish, which I'm not going to do because I have stuff running already right now. I don't need to run another one. Click publish. It's going to do a quick review. It's going to publish your ad. And then, yeah, you can come back in here to your ad center where you can start seeing, you know, how many people it's going out to. And you can see up here you've got your, that's my audiences. This is one of the, that's ChatGPT. But yeah, that is pretty much how to set up a Facebook ad and narrow it down to the people that you want to, that you're trying to target. Now maybe you're not doing wedding photography and you're doing more family portraits, so you would want to play around with that. You know, maybe play around with the relationship status. You know, maybe put it as married because you're looking for like married couples that have children or something like that. A lot of different things you can do in there. The biggest thing with doing ads as a photographer is making sure that you have your region selected. You want your audience to be just the area that you're in and the area that you service. That is a mistake that a lot of people make, is they just allow it to be for the entire United States. And though they might get a lot of impressions, a lot of different likes on it, they're not getting the messages that they want for their region. So it just ends up being a whole lot of wasted money. Now, in the last month and a half, I've spent probably around $600, I believe, in advertising, which might sound like a lot, but in that amount of time, and I will pull it up and I will show you here, which this is my CloudSpot account. This is my dashboard here. This is what I have done since January 1st, and right now it is February 17th. So I have generated $11,145 in revenue. That was from like deposits paid and some of the other sessions that I'd had, with currently just outstanding $11,300. I think I booked, you know what, I'd honestly have to look, but I think I booked 15, 16 or 17 weddings. I'd have to look for sure. Booked quite a few weddings in a matter of 1.5 months. Now, wedding photography was something that I was working as a second shooter, and then I started doing it as a lead, but I wasn't really advertising it. I wasn't pushing it, but I had made the decision this past fall that I really wanted to pursue it and started pushing it. Now, it took me a good month and a half to really start learning how the Facebook ads work and what worked for me. We spent a decent amount of money to just get frustrated and have nothing working, but come beginning of January, I think I sold my first wedding January 2nd, I think it was. It was pretty quick, and from there it just kept going. I figured it out. I figured out how to do the ads as I showed you right there, and it is what's worked for me. As you can see right there on the screen, it works. I'm still booking in weddings. I sold another one a couple days ago, selling into 2027. Yeah, I hope that helps you guys understand how to advertise photography on Facebook. It's really not a difficult thing to do. Just take a little time, play around in there. You don't have to commit a lot of money, you know. Start with just $5 a day. Run it for a few days, see what comes out, see what happens, you know. It doesn't take much to sell one of these, and you'll start seeing that money come in and understand that, hey, you know, spending $600 over a month and a half is cheap compared to what you're potentially bringing in. So I hope that helps, and if you have any questions on setting up your Facebook ads, please reach out, comment, subscribe. Thanks.